Hello friends. Okay, part 2 of our orchid series. So part 1, you should have your orchid drawn there. Pardon me. We drew this circle and then we drew each of the parts, and I gave you this to do that with. And this is a moth orchid, by the way. So today we're just going to add in some of the leaves and some of the little buds. I tried to get some pictures of my orchid plant outside, but I don't know how successful and helpful these will be. So this kind of shows some of the leaves. Here's the entire plant. We've got some buds and two orchids there now. And then I tried to get a close-up of the orchid so you could kind of see that. So that's kind of how I'm going to be painting this. Oops. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use my Blackwing pencil here, and actually I'm going to do something real quick here. I just wanted to sharpen that a bit. Ooh, that is really sharp now. Okay, so we already drew our moth orchid, and just composition wise, I drew it a little bit to the left and a little below center. So if we divided our paper into thirds, I tried to be on the lower third portion and in the left third of the composition. Okay, so it's not right smack in the middle. So let me just go through this, and I'm going to darken this a bit. I already erased my pencil lines that I used because we used that circle and then grid lines. I'll link below the step 1 video if you need to go back and look at that again. And I had mentioned how these 3 leaves are kind of in a V. So seeing things that way always is helpful for me. Just easier for my brain to kind of grasp that. And then we've got that. So there we go. We've got our orchid here. Now today we're going to focus on these big leaves down near the bottom. If you can see that, they're quite large and they're quite wide and fat. So I'm going to go ahead and start down here at the bottom, and it's kind of hard to see, but they've got a little bit of a stalk here at the bottom. So that's, I tried to make it somewhat thick down here. I'm going to come out with my first leaf and make it quite round. You could even make it fatter on yours. And then another one coming out here. And I'm putting a little bit of a fold over, as you can see right here. Let me move this up so you can see that. So a little bit, it's folded over like you see here. So that's what I did there. And then we're going to draw this one over here coming out from the mid stalk. And I'm going to do an S. So out, in, back out, and then curling into itself. And then I'll come over here on the outer edge and just draw that coming down. So it looks like this leaf is turning. And then the little vein in the middle. And there we go. One more leaf over here. And what I also tried to do with these is kind of this triangle almost, or it could be like that explosion type of composition that I like so much, where the leaves are opening up and then here is what's kind of bursting out of them. Now on my plant, there is a number of these little root type things. They look like little worms. So I went ahead and drew those in. They were kind of coming out just all over. And then let's go ahead and start our branches that are coming out. So here is one. And the branch is a little bit thick, and then at the end it had some little buds coming out like that. And here you could really, you know, just play. There we go. Mine at one time last week, I counted, had 21 little buds. Now 3 of them have opened at this point. Okay, so I've got that. Let's add in maybe another couple here. And right here. So there we go. I've got the one branch coming out here. Mine actually went out quite far, but I ran out of room here on the paper. And then for the little orchid, I'm going to draw right here. I'm going to kind of use the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 petals. So we've got the ones coming out of the middle, and they kind of form these like Batman wings. And then we've got the one coming out from the top, kind of like a crown. And then the 2 side ones and the middle one. There's also these little mini petals in the middle, so I just added those in, and we're just really getting a feel for that flower. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I think with the 2 wings coming out on each side, like so, and then the other one, and then creating that top piece, the little bottom, and this is like a V. And I'm showing you this because if you can get that general shape and style, you're going to get the feel of that orchid. And then there's the little mini wings or petals in the center. So don't get too caught up in how perfect that has to be. If you can do the 2 and then the triangle shape and the middle and the baby petals inside, I think you're going to be pretty good. And you can go back to the first video and kind of see how we did the circle and we created guidelines and went through creating each of the petals. Okay, so for mine, it did have 2 branches coming out like this. So I'm going to do another one here. Now for composition wise, I curved it over to the right. So I feel like my eye is drawn in through the bottom here. These leaves kind of open up to our focal point, which is going to be the main orchid. And then we've got all this movement with these branches that we're doing. So I'm coming out of the side, just like we did here. And I want to just lead my eye around. Again, coming out with some little buds. So we've got this S shape kind of going on. We've got this kind of explosion, which I love. And now I'm just going to add some little buds. Like that. And we'll practice one more smaller orchid over here. So remember, we're going to first do those little kind of bat wings and the crown at the top, and I kind of even call it like a little tongue. And then to get the direction of those bottom two side petals, just think of it as that V shape. So that'll kind of give you some direction. So you've got these bat wings, I'm calling them. You've got our tiny little inside petals, and then the 3 petals behind, and they're in that triangle shape. So I'm going to add those in right now. And then our little mini petals. And there you go. So those don't have to be so perfect, just so they have that general feel. And there we go. I'm going to actually carry down these branches, which in an actual orchid, they're really quite straight. I gave mine a little bit of curve. And there you go. So I will post this drawing for you, a link to it so you can download it if you want. Day 1 was this middle orchid. And then day 2, today is kind of creating this flow and composition and our leaves and our little buds that we're going to paint in. So our last day, we will be painting this. And I think the colors we're going to use, because a moth orchid is these beautiful quin magentas. If you're using the MeiLang palette, that could be your rose red, madder rose. We could even maybe put a little bit in your Winsor Newton with the violet and the quin magenta. You could add in some opera rose and some cad yellow. So that'll be in the next tutorial. And I will put this drawing up in for you to download in the community page. All right. Okay, everybody. I think she's turning out just beautiful, and I'm excited to paint her in part 3. Thanks so much. Have fun.